What's up guys, Tyler from the Aquatic Journal. This video has been a long time coming. Honestly, I've been super unmotivated to make videos lately, so this video was actually recorded a long time ago. I'm just doing the intro and the outro now, so you'll see me in a little bit as well. But there's a lot of things that have actually changed, so a lot of things that you'll see in this video aren't even actually accurate anymore, but the stand video is super important to me. This is the stand that Aquarium Coop has in their store. I wanted to recreate it and make a tutorial so that hopefully you can follow this tutorial and make one of your own. I've actually already made a second one, and I'm going to be making a third one here shortly, so it's going to be how all my tanks are basically set up in my fish room. So I love this stand. I hope this helps you show how to make it, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If I need to, I'll make a part 2 of this video. I really don't care. I just want people to be able to make this stand because I think it's a really great stand. So hope you enjoy the video. One more thing before we start, I forgot to mention how I cut my wood. This is going to be different depending on what size tanks you use. Sorry for my dog there. But I'll show you what it looks like for 640 breeders and how I got those dimensions, and you should be able to use that same math to build it for any tanks that you really want to put up. So I'll show you that now. So here's a mock-up of the design. So this top bar that's selected here is the top of the bar. This is a 2x4 by 115. So how I got that dimensions is this a 2x4 on the edge here, this very right, I can't seem to select it, this very right bar is a 2x4 on its side. So that's 1.5 inches plus 36.5 plus 1.5 plus 36.5 plus 1.5 plus 36.5 plus 1.5. That's how I get those dimensions there. That math might be a little off as I added some extra length because I didn't want to be short, which if you see in the video you'll see that the board is actually long because it was more than I needed. These dark blue pieces are the ones that go front to back on the tank, so I need 12 of those, which is 2 for each tank, and those are just the front to back dimensions of a tank. So a 40 breeder with the rim is 18.5 inches. The other ones are just the uprights, so these outside beams, these are whatever height you want them to be. So to get that, I'm using the gap that's on the bottom, the tank height, the gap that's in between the two, and then a little space on the top, and you also have to include your ceiling height as well. So 72 inches is what I ended up with. The reason this is, I wanted 16 or 15 inches on the bottom. This means I can put a 5-gallon bucket underneath here, which you'll see that at the end of the video. 8-inch gap in between the two tanks, and the 3.5-inch gap for the 2x4 right there gives you almost a foot of space, which is plenty of space to get aquascaping in and out and get fish in and out of the tanks. So that's how I got the dimensions. I hope that helps. So first things first, I hauled in my wood. This is going to be for 640 breeders. Next, I have my longboard running against the floor, and I'll just screw my uprights directly into that, so everything is just nice up against the floor. This will allow it to kind of hold all of the weight that it needs to hold. The next thing is I'll just lay my tank down next to it so I know where the uprights need to be screwed in, and then I'll just screw them in. It'll look like this once the first layer is done. From here, you'll look for your height. For me, I want just bigger than a 5-gallon bucket. So I use a 5-gallon bucket, put it down, make sure it's level on the side and across the middle. From here, I'll go ahead and drill my holes in the board, and then you'll put the bolt through like that, and you can see it'll hold my weight, and I'll explain how that bolt situation works right here. This part got cut out, so I'm coming back to explain it now. So you take a long drill bit, they make like these I don't know how long this is, a 6-inch, 9-inch, I think it might be a 9-inch drill bit. Anyways, I used a 1/2 inch, this is 5/16 is the one I didn't use. So anyways, you use a 1/2 inch drill bit, you drill all the way through the wood from one side to the other. So on this side, obviously it's pretty far, on the ends you can get away with it. Then I take a bolt. This is a 5-inch bolt, so this is 1.5 inch, 1.5 inch, 1.5, which is 4.5 inches. So it just barely sticks through. I don't know if you can see that if I clip it through here. It barely hangs off the other side. Sink that all the way through, and then you take this washer, take the washer, slide it all the way down to this end. Use a bigger washer than this, obviously. And then just tighten this nut down on this side. So you can see the bolt, we have it on this side. And then the other side is the nut that's all the way tied down. I have a link in the description to the ones I used, but these are, it's going to be kind of hard to see here, but these are locking nuts, so they actually sink into the wood a little bit. And that's what I use on all sides, so that's what's holding up the weight. So on here, we use 5-inch bolts, and then on the end where there's just this, these are actually 3.5-inch bolts, I believe is what they are. So this is 1.5 inches, so it only needs to be 3 inches. So an extra 1/2 inch ends up just being perfect, and then the same thing, and not in a washer on that side as well. So hopefully that makes sense. This is a little preview of kind of what's all going on. I have one more tank to drop in there, but the other tanks are actually all in here, and it seems to be holding just fine. I also cut boards to the height that I wanted. So for this stand, I wanted there to be an 8-inch gap in between the two tanks. This actually ends up being closer to an 11-inch gap, as there's an 8-inch gap and then a 2x4 in between there. So you almost have a foot of space in between your two tanks. Use that 8-inch spacer, do that in the middle, do that on the right, do that on the left. Again, you want to make sure that these are super level, both side to side and front to back, because that's going to be super important for one, making sure your tanks look nice, but two, making sure that they don't bust over time. The other thing I did is made sure that these tanks still fit on the bottom row here. So you see me moving the 40 breeders side to side as I do this. I just want to make sure there's no mistakes before I go ahead and finish everything. So again, making sure it fits. After I got that row done, I just went in and screwed in the top supports. Once the top supports are in, I just make sure the tank fits, and I do that each one before I screw in the middle supports there. I just want to make sure that the stand doesn't shift and that the tank will fit regardless of where I put it. We've made a bit of a mess here, but you can see the rack still up. 2 tanks on. I don't see any bowing at all. About to add some tanks that are behind me here. As you can see, I drained this one. It's got to get all cleaned up and move over here. But this is what it looks like. I was going to add cross supports. I'm not that worried about it. I actually have a board. You can see it's right there to drop behind there if I do want to add it eventually. But I honestly don't think it's going to be an issue, so I'm not all that concerned about it. But yeah, I'm super excited with how it turned out. Yeah, I've been working on this for 2 days now. Super excited. You saw me make sure all of the tanks will fit. So it's pretty much all set to go. This is exactly what the Aquarium Co-op rack looks like. I don't think he has cross supports unless they're in the back. But yeah, it holds fine, right? Like it's not going anywhere. But I'm super happy with it. It should hold all the tanks. I hope this video was helpful to you guys. Definitely, if you have questions, leave them in the comments or message me on Instagram or wherever you can get a hold of me. And I would love to answer any of your questions you have about it. I was super happy with how this all turned out. I'll get the tanks on here, and you guys will probably see that in a future video, because I'm probably going to end up doing another one of these racks on the other wall, as well as actually where this tank is here once it leaves. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching the whole thing. I know it's kind of a long video, but I wanted to make sure I explained everything possible so that you can build your own without any issues. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.